employee shortages and what they do not want you to know. Let's get to it. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano. Today we are drinking the original Donut Shop coffee, one of my favorites. Nice medium coffee, not too heavy, not too light, something to help get us through this lengthy discussion on employee shortages. Probably one of the most frequently asked questions on the channel. We'll go over that here in just a minute. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you get all of our updates and all of our videos. If you need to hit pause to get your coffee or whatever beverage that you would like, do that now. This will be a little bit of a lengthy discussion. We got a lot to talk about with this. Again, like I said, this is the most frequently asked question on the channel, other than food shortages and prices that have just gone up to ridiculous levels in the grocery store. That is good coffee. So let's get into it. So employee shortages. What is it? Why is it still around? Here 3 years into post-pandemic era here. Why are we still dealing with employee shortages? Let me ask you a question first. How many times do you drive down the street? How many stores do you go into? What supermarkets or retail or restaurants do you go to that has now hiring up on the board? In front of the store, in front of the restaurant, how many stores around the country here do you go to where it says now hiring? Now we have talked a little bit about this on the channel before, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth because I kind of did a little bit of research today, did a little undercover work to try and find maybe an opinion. This is an opinion-based thing. So if you have any answers or you have any opinions, make sure you let us know down in the comments. So today I went through and I'm driving down the road and I saw now hiring on Target. I saw now hiring at Dollar General. I saw now hiring at Dollar Tree. I saw now hiring at Popeye's Chicken. And I was like, you know what? I ain't had Popeye's Chicken in a while. I'm going to go check it out. I'll get a couple pieces of chicken, grab some lunch before I do this video today. So I went into Popeye's Chicken. The first thing I noticed was there was a guy who was waiting, who was the cashier, who was taking everybody's order. The line was about halfway wrapped around the building. I was like, I'm just going to go in and we'll, get something to eat. So I go in and there was a guy who he didn't seem clueless, but he seemed like he was new on the job. He didn't know a lot. He was asking for help that wasn't there. There was one other person in the place that looked like they were the manager. I stood there for close to 15 minutes, I think it was, and I decided to just leave. I wasn't going to wait that long. It was taking way too long. The guy had too many questions. The lady was overworked. I think that says a lot right there, right? That says a lot. I'm going to have to loosen this up here because we are going to get on a roll here. Coffee rant. Coffee rant. Welcome back to the rant, and we have a lot to rant about. So I left and I went to KFC. I was like, you know what? We're going to go. They're pretty close to each other. So I went to KFC. I'm not a big fan of KFC, but I just kind of wanted to test a theory. Okay. So I went to KFC and looking around, there's a lot of employees. There's probably seven or eight maybe. I know one person was kind of doing trash, and then a couple people making the food, and then a few more people, and then it looked like there was a manager or two. The one thing that I noticed there was that everybody seemed like they were enjoying their job. They were talking to people. They were being interactive. Food was being made quickly. It seemed like it was running very well. And yes, I did end up getting a couple pieces of chicken, and surprisingly, it was pretty good. Like I said, normally don't go to KFC, but it was really good. But this is a thing that I think we're noticing. We are noticing here in 2023, we are noticing super burnout. I have a lot of friends that work in these grocery stores: Kroger, Meijer, Walmart, Aldi. I've made friends in a lot of these stores, and I hear a lot of things. One thing I'll tell you with Kroger, with a couple of the employees that I know who I'm pretty good friends with, is that they are hard workers, but they are getting burned out because there are people that aren't doing their jobs. And it's not that they're incapable, it's that they just don't want to work. people don't want to work. And I think, and take this, and this is just my opinion, okay? Let's say that at first. These are no facts here, okay? This is all opinionated. But I think what we're seeing is that we're seeing burnout from a couple years ago from diehard employees that have been working at these places for years, but they have been working every day. I know employees at Kroger and Meijer who've been working 6 days a week. And to make it worse, these, and I won't name which companies these are, but there's companies that are cutting people's hours, and that's really starting to upset some people because they have their livelihood based on how much they make each week. And then you have these stores that are cutting their hours, right? And then you still have the huge banner outside that says now hiring. Now, is that a precautionary thing for the store? This is what I think that stores don't want you to know. Now, I have said this story before, but I'm going to say it again because we have a lot of new viewers. So my wife's friend's son, who was an 18-year-old kid. Now, he's gotten a job since then. This was about a year ago. But he couldn't get a job. Everywhere down the road says now hiring. Says now hiring. He could not get a job. And he's a good kid. You know, it's not like he doesn't want to work. He wanted to work any hours. And these places weren't hiring. Popeye's Chicken was one of them. And I thought to myself, I'm like, you know, you're not hiring nobody. You're not hiring anybody. I feel like a lot of these companies, maybe not some of the big, huge supermarkets, because you have so many people that come and go. I understand that. And fast food, traditionally, I feel, you know, my first job when I was younger was Burger King. I was a kid. I was like 16. I wanted to get out and work, and they were hiring 16-year-olds. You were allowed to work then. Had to have my mom sign something to work, but, you know, that was good. It was good. I don't... The funny thing about all this is that a lot of these places that we're seeing where it says now hiring and everything, it's mostly kids that are working. And as to where I think that's good, that kids want to get out, make money, earn their keep, earn what they're getting and stuff. That's awesome. A lot of these restaurants and stuff, that's who you're seeing. You're seeing more younger folks in the cashier position, because that is an important job. You're taking people's orders, you're taking people's money. You're also dealing with a lot of the anger and stuff that people just bring in general into your store or restaurant. So you're dealing with a lot, but you're allowing the other people who've been working there a long time to just get those orders out as fast as they can, because it's important that you get the food out fast. You can't be like Popeyes and let somebody stand there for 15 minutes when you only have 2 people in front of you. I mean... yeah, it was really backed up in the drive-thru, but still, and I understand because you only have 2 people working here. You can't handle all this by yourselves. So the problem with the employee shortages is that, and go anywhere, ask anybody. Like, you could ask a place that looks completely full and ask them if they're hiring, and they'll either say yes or they'll say we're accepting applications. Now, I've always been the one where it's like, if I need a job, I get a job right now. It may not be a career, but it's something, and that's what I've always told people. You know how, like, when you get hired somewhere, they say, well, what are your qualifications? Well, I'm here to work. I'm here to work, do the job, get it done, get paid. That's all I'm here for. They say, well, what's your future plan? I don't really have one. I don't have one. Never have. That's just how I am. Like I said, this is a whole opinion-based coffee rant here. And I am going to be getting into some major points here in a couple minutes. Also, anything that we discuss on here today, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Again, this is an opinionated discussion. Just kind of trying to get down to the bottom line of what's really going on here. What's really going on? What are big corporations, what are companies doing that are ultimately hurting people? Okay, because what's happening is places are hiring, okay, and then they really don't seem to care whether you leave or not, because they have thousands of applications on file, and they can just go through this process every day if they have to. What was the place? There was a place I went to, let's see. Okay, so I will give one little thing here, and I think it's kind of interesting. It's kind of sad, and I don't really know what's going on. But take Bob Evans. Me and Jessica eat at Bob Evans every now and then. You know, if we don't want to cook, we go out to breakfast or something. Or we go out with my mom or family or whoever. I have noticed at Bob Evans over the last year or so that I don't think we've had the same waitress or same waiter twice. Like, I have a bit of a photographic memory, an eidetic memory. So I know things. I know it with prices. I know it with people. Things that I see, I remember. It's a gift and a curse. But and I do know one or two employees that have been at Bob Evans this whole time. But like I said, it seems like every time we go, people are coming and going. Is this a transition job? One thing I will say, during the pandemic, a lot of people had lost their jobs. A lot of people couldn't do the same kind of job. Bartenders, waiters, waitresses, these things that were non-essential jobs. Yes, you had some people that were sticking around, that were cooking food and maybe doing delivery and stuff like that. People who were dedicated to working where they had to work, and the business and the company. But a lot of people quit their jobs because they weren't able to make enough money. It's different to say if you're single, or if you're just you and your wife, like me and Jessica. It's easier to get by. You don't have two or three kids to feed. You got to think differently if you're a parent. You have to get working. If your job's not going to be here, okay. Well, who's hiring that's paying the most money? Amazon. I think Amazon had the biggest hiring influx ever during the pandemic. DHL was getting rid of people at that time, and that was a shame. Now they've rehired a lot of those people from what I understand, but hours getting cut, things are changing. Companies are changing. They don't want you to know that they're short on employees or if they have too many employees. They wanted to keep being steady so they can keep the applications coming in case it all hits the fan, right? Because you can't have nobody working at Kroger. Now, I will say something that was a little disturbing, and I won't say which store it was, okay? But I went to a meat counter at a store, and I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I went to a meat counter at a store, and there was nobody there. Nobody there. Nobody working. I will say that I have been to Kroger a couple different times, and there will be one employee in the meat cutter, in the butcher area, the deli. And she or he will be doing all of the work. There'll be a line of people, and I just say to myself, well, I'm not even going to try, because for one, I don't want to be part of what's going to ruin this person's day. They're probably having a nightmare right now. I'll come back later. I'll get whatever we want next time. But guys, this is something that is a serious conditioning of the brain, because a lot of people are getting burned out. The person that you see that is the single person doing the job by themselves is the one that is always there. The one that never calls off. The one that works all the time. And I'll tell you what, I feel so bad for some of these people, because it's like they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to take, deli workers get more money at Kroger than some other jobs. So you don't want to do another job there where you're making less money, because you factored in all the different things that you need in life and how you're getting by. Most people in life are working week to week, day to day for some people. We're going to be doing some videos here in the near future of different videos of ways that we can save and stock up on things, at a very cheap price. We're going to be looking for the cheapest of cheap things to do to be able to get you by on the cheapest on the dollar. We've done that a lot on this channel, but now I feel, after doing this kind of and I went to a couple stores. I went into Target. Target seems like they have plenty of employees. We don't see what's in the back. We've seen a lot of things that are slow to come. We remember a year ago where Target had stickers that were never getting put up. They actually got called out on that. And a lot of people were complaining about that. And then all of a sudden we saw the stickers start going up. They actually brought in a team from another Target or from the main corporation to change the stickers and get the prices right. Guys, it's all part of a bigger thing that I think we need to pay attention to. We need to pay attention because this is something that is, one, it's out of everyone's control. Okay, you can't, We like I said, we always see these signs of places that say now hiring, but are they hiring? Is it working out best for the corporation? We don't see Target's numbers dropping anymore. We don't see any Kroger or Meijer numbers dropping. We don't see Walmart numbers dropping. But the thing is that it's hard for a lot of people to have faith in some of these businesses now. As we've talked about, look at Walmart. Walmart has closed 21 Walmarts, 4 near the Chicago area this year. This year, they closed one up north here that had a lot of workers that had to move on. Now they say, well, they could have worked for other Walmarts. I bet you at least half of those people who worked at the one up north of us here, I bet half of them had to find another job. I bet, because when you look at Walmarts around here, they look like they're pretty solid packed with employees, yet they still have that sign up that says now hiring. They don't want us to know what is really going on. And you can say that for a lot of different things, but they really don't. Store owners, businesses, CEOs, people who are making the big bucks, people who are just raking it in, I don't want to say they don't care about the employees, but we're seeing less and less attention to detail. When I went into KFC today, and I know this is just one instance, okay? These guys were excited. They love their job. There's something that is going on with KFC, why everybody liked working in there, why they were able to keep employees in there. Now, I didn't talk to anybody, but I kind of got that feeling like you guys have been working together for a while. If you take a football team or baseball team or anybody and you just throw it together, it's not going to happen overnight. You almost have to meld with that team for a year before you start working really good together, or anything, or any business. These guys have been working together for a long time. They love their job and they're probably getting paid pretty decent for it. Now, I know a lot of people have been saying on the channel, well, a lot of the reasons why this happens is because minimum wage has gone up in a lot of different places. Well, minimum wage by the federal government should have never had to have been done. Okay, this should have been, and again, this is my opinion. Okay, so you feel free to leave in the comments whatever you like. But in my opinion, I feel like minimum wage should have gone up a long time ago from each individual company. When you force something on someone, it's almost like you react out of spite. And I'm not saying that all companies do this, but now, like everything else with price increases, food shortages, stuff like this, we have excuses for everything. So when the books come out at the end of the year, you can say, well, we kept under this. You kept under this number. Well, CEO of whoever, Walmart or whoever, look at the employee ratio of what's going on here does not equal the amount of pay. Well, when you start factoring in how many hours that they've cut and how many employees that they've let go, all of a sudden those numbers start to make more sense. Let's pause here for coffee break. So the point that I'm trying to get at today is that when you see these things, the more and more people talk about these things, the more and more I hope that it works out and that things start working out. Everything ties together. Everything. Food shortages, rising prices, and employee shortages. Those are the 3 things that I can tell you that I see and hear about every day in the grocery store. Every day. There's always a friend or something that I know that say, oh, so-and-so didn't show up. So-and-so got their hours cut. They're ready to leave. They don't want to work here no more. They're only getting 30 hours. They're not getting 40 hours. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. If a boss came up to me and said, Dan, I'm sorry, but we got to cut 10 of your hours, I'm not going to say a word. But you know what I am going to do? I'm going to find another job. I'm going to be as nice and professional as possible. I will give 2 weeks, even though is that a thing anymore? Do people give 2 weeks or do they just leave? I don't know, but that's, in my opinion, that's the right thing to do. Don't say nothing. If you're unhappy with your job, this is your employer, this is who's paying you, find another job. But don't say nothing about it. Keep it to yourself. Don't tell them, well, I'm going to look for another job, because then it's just going to get worse. And then you'll have in your head that, well, then you'll just want to leave for the next 2 weeks. And you're not allowing yourself that buffer zone to get another job. Because for one thing, if you do get another job, you don't want to like downgrade. That's one thing that I've always said in my life. Like when I get another job, I don't want to make the same or less. I want to make a little bit more. Or if I do make the same amount of money, I wanted to make sure that it's something that I love to do. Like if I'm gonna make the same amount of money and put up with the same kind of stuff, I want to make sure that it's at least something that I like to do, at least for now. Because you want to get something for the immediate, because you're going to need more money because you're used to having that extra 10 hours a week, right? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. If you're making $400 a week or $500 a week, well, now you're making $300 or $400 a week. And that's a lifestyle change. That's going from shopping sales at Kroger or somewhere where you can find the best deals, arguably the best thing to do, really, but to figuring out how you're going to make it work out at Dollar Tree, hoping and praying that they start lowering some of those prices to $1, which I've yet to see. That's another thing. Let me know down in the comments. Have any of you seen, they've been saying this since the end of June. A lot of you guys have been leaving comments about it. Has Dollar Tree lowered any prices where you are down to $1? I know they said they were going to do that. It's been 2 months and I haven't seen or heard anything else about it. So I don't know. We always get comments on that. So wanted to address it. But guys, it's just another thing. This week I feel has been a whirlwind, a hurricane of different events. It's just been crazy. It's been crazy, and we keep getting hit with all these questions and comments. A longtime viewer of ours lost their job. I'm never say who it was, and I'm just saying I got a pretty heartfelt email. A lot of people don't want to leave some of this stuff in the comments. I completely understand. And it's sad. It's sad. I won't say what store it was either, but it's something that is, when you have made a career out of working somewhere and then all of a sudden it is pretty much taken from underneath you, or say you get a new boss. I know in one instance, one of our viewers a while back was saying that they couldn't take the management no more. Everything had changed. Don't know if anything was changed with hours or pay or anything, but the lifestyle of how you're doing your job and how you're able to manage it is everything. If you're doing a job that you really don't care to do, but your work environment is awesome and you have a lot of good people and you're making okay pay, enough to get by and put a little on the side, enough to stock up on things and, just be able to live a life, a normal life, right? Because I don't feel like we have a middle class anymore. I don't think we have for a long time. We have the rich and then we have the poor. But I will tell you something that I've heard, and let me know if you've heard this too. There are celebrities that are coming out, and I'm talking people with money, right? Celebrities that are coming out and they are starting to make complaints of a lot of different things with stuff in grocery stores, prices and stuff like that. So it's not just affecting us. It's not affecting just us. It's affecting the higher ups. It's affecting people who have a lot of money. And the thing is that I like hearing when people up here who do have a lot of money, who could walk into a store, who could buy 20 cars and not think anything of it. But you have people up here that are complaining about the prices of bread, the prices of eggs, the price of, well, that was back when eggs were ridiculous. But, the prices of cereal, stuff like that. You're hearing these stories from people who have enough money they don't need to complain about that. But now we're hearing these kind of stories from people who have a lot of money, and it's like, these are people, as much as I hate to say it, they have bigger voices than I do. I mean, they're, when you hear this from a famous actor or musician or something, well, maybe that will get a little bit more traction and maybe things will start getting done. That's why I like hearing stuff from up here. Now, when you're up here and you're complaining about a lot of things and all that stuff, that's different. But when you're complaining about things that us down here are struggling with, I keep going to the lowest part of the screen here because we are in the poor class. There is no middle class anymore. None. The housing market has proven that. And the grocery stores. It's sad. It really is. But guys, it starts from the ground and we have to rise up. We have to rise up. We got to make sure that we are teaching everyone that you know what, it's a good thing to have a job. It's a good thing to work. That is the American way. That is the way that you can build upon yourself. But don't be tricked like a lot of these different places. If you have a now hiring sign, they don't hire you on the minute and they're not willing to meet your demands. There are a lot of places hiring out here right now. Don't sit down and be like, oh, well, no, I have to do this. This is the first place I came to. No, there are many options. So when we see things like restaurants or stores or things like this, and you pull around, you pull my leg, you pull around, well, I got good news for myself. I make the calls in my life. I don't let them do it. And you don't have to either. And the more businesses that we have that are doing this, that are playing these games, not wanting to hire or cut people's hours, that is going to ultimately be their demise. And we will move on from that, and we will get different jobs. We will always find a way. Life always finds a way. Right? I just took that straight out of Jurassic Park. Sorry. Ian Malcolm. One of my favorite lines in that movie. Life will find a way. How the dinosaurs... whatever. A little bit of comedy. Had to throw that out there. But guys, don't let anybody tell you what to do. Be yourself. Be strong. If you are one of these out here right now that are looking for the right job, if you have gotten stepped on by the man, if you've gotten stepped on, if you've gotten kicked around, there are plenty of things out here for you. Plenty of things. And maybe think outside the box. All these places that you've seen now hiring, don't go to them. It might be a lie. It very well could be. And even if it's not, you could hit the right timing. But if you're going to do this, and I understand if you have the immediate need to get a job, which a lot of people do, get whatever you can, but constantly be on the search to make it better. Because that's the American dream, in my opinion. Keep building up. Don't ever build down. Don't fall down. And if you do fall down, always learn how to pick yourself back up. Guys, thank you so much for this coffee rant tonight. It was good to get this off my shoulders. I feel every day we are talking about things that matter in everybody's life. And this is the best answer that I could really give for the employee shortages. I think a lot of businesses don't want you to know what's really going on. That's why we're here, so that we can expose what's really going on and tell the truth. Tell the truth. If I have missed anything, please let me know down in the comments. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I have. We have a great YouTube following on here. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great night.